What's going on, people in the YouTube world? Let me reintroduce myself, because over the past couple of months, and I'm sure everyone has been wondering, where the hell did this guy come from? And why did I just naturally start posting videos out of the blue? Well, seeing how I've literally lived through a lot of different things, and so many people throughout my entire life have always asked me how I have survived so many different things. How have I made it so far in life? Every single person that I've ever met has always said that I know exactly the right thing to say in the moment. And truth be told, I literally have no idea what to say in any moment. But what I have figured out is how to actually describe what goes on in my mind when every single person I've ever met comes to me with problems. Every single stranger has literally told me their entire life issues, sometimes their relationship problems. A lot of people come to me with money issues. And I never understood why. And today what I actually wanted to do is I wanted to break down how my mind actually literally works in split seconds. This has literally helped me overcome so many things and go so far in life, given the circumstances that I was dealt with. It may seem at times like I instantly jump to having the correct answer at times. And sometimes it may seem like I may become a little too confident in making decisions. But first, let me tell you why I'm actually trying to make these videos. And as you can see, there's a lot of writing on this board behind me, so please don't freak out yet and click off yet. I'm not going to go into detail about everything that I've written down today. I'm just going to touch on a little bit of each topic, because each little subject right here, I could literally make an entire video on every single little thing that I wrote right there, and I could go and talk on for days. But today I just wanted to give you a small little overview of everything. Who am I trying to help? Especially by making these videos. For me, I've always felt incredibly lost and alone my entire life. I never felt like I fit in anywhere at any given moment, like I was the black sheep. And so these are part of those videos. What I also try to do is I also want to be able to try to make sense of, especially for people who may have gone through a lot of failed relationships like I have, and they continuously wonder why they never work out. And that's a very tough one. Because honestly, like, if you've ever felt lost, I know I have a lot, especially confused. Or a lot of times I just feel like life keeps handing you the same lesson, or it's incredibly tough over and over again. A lot of these videos are for you. Now the how part, how my mind actually works. And this is literally the part that happens in my head in the matter of a split second. What I do is I start to observe whether it's a memory or any kind of feeling. And what I have started to practice over time is I name or I say the feeling, or I try to talk about the memory the best that I can, the best way I knew how to communicate. The second thing is I start to ask a lot of questions in my mind. This is where my mind literally races within seconds. It has 1.5 million questions. Especially if it's a relationship, I may ask, what did they do to me, or how did I contribute, or did I freak out at any part? Especially with a man with PTSD, I tend to freak out a lot sometimes. That's my girlfriend. And so I ask myself a lot of questions, not only questions about the situation, the problem, or anything, but I ask questions about myself. How am I contributing to this? And it happens in seconds. And then what I do is I start to reverse engineer the problem itself. And so what I do is I start using the feedback from my questions. Did I contribute to the relationship with poor communication? Or with fits of my PTSD, did I put myself in that environment for me to feel unsafe, for me to feel triggered? Did I lash out, or did I do X, Y, and Z? I try to make these I statements. Okay, and this is where you will gather a lot of insight on yourself. After that is the feedback. Now you take both of these answers and you start applying it to life, and that right there is a whole journey and lesson in itself. And this is honestly where the tricky part and the hard work really starts to come into play, is where you start to get the feedback and you start adjusting to everything. Because adjusting, there's 3 different sections. And again, I can make literally videos on all of this for days. But the adjustment part, when you start to get the feedback and you reverse engineer the problems, the adjusting part, this is where you may keep failing and you may have to keep picking yourself back up and dusting yourself off because you're still applying what you have learned. And so you keep adjusting to certain things. That's another big problem. And now comes the last part, is the growth part. The growth part is the biggest, most important key. And I put up there is when you finally start to realize to work with life, with everything that you have applied here, instead of working against life, that is where you have the ultimate growth. And also what I always put, because people always say that I have always had the biggest heart and I've never let the world in general turn my heart turn cold. And that reason being is because I've always kept my heart intact, to give back all of the knowledge to other people that I have learned and that I have overcame. Because sometimes the things in life that you go through that you have overcame, sometimes those people may need to hear the same things as well. And the why. Why do I make these videos? Why do I do what I do? Why does my mind work in such intricate split-second ways? And why I do everything is because of humility, because of the growth process that I pointed out, and to remain thankful and humble at all times. You never know what anyone is truly ever going through. And that is the hardest part about life. So this right here is the entire process of how my mind works. Trust me, on this board, it's not perfect. And I don't claim to have all the answers. I am literally just a man who has spent an entire lifetime trying to understand why people, including myself, do the things that we do. And I don't want anyone to sit there and think that I want you to think like I do, or to connect the dots the way that I do. What I love most about this channel is the insightful comments and the conversations that we have on this all together. Because I truly believe the better questions we ask, not only ourselves, but each other, the better insight we can all gather to help make better decisions, to start living a better and healthier life. And I hope to see you guys all starting on the next one. I'm going to start breaking these down into little series. So thank you.